Tyke and Anna Jane. I did not know that when I was 9 years old and made a confession of faith to the pastor at my home church, that his daughter, who was a few years older than me, would become one of my favorite pastors and mentors. That the leadership I was going to need many times in my ministry was only 4 years older than me and in that room at that time. I didn't know that, but now I know. After having both of you do your confession of faith a few weeks ago, I have to say that I found myself overwhelmed. I sat in this chair behind me, and I was flooded with immense joy and grief. And I didn't know that was going to happen, but now I know. Let's first talk about the grief. It wasn't a bad grief, Anna Jane and Tyke. It was a beautiful grief. It was the awareness of a presence of those in my life who had stood with me when I made my confession of faith. My parents and my godparents, the 4 people who on multiple occasions committed their love to me, the 4 people who would be sitting here today if they were still alive. They would have brought gifts, more gifts than you can even imagine. They would have brought a profound sense of celebration. My mother would have made me do all the right things, send out the invitations, and make everyone know that her grandkids were being baptized in a way that I must admit my exhausted reality just doesn't allow as a mom. My dad would have analyzed each moment with you. You would have to review all of it. And my godparents would just have been profoundly present. And today, those of you sitting in here are those people for my children. Here are some of the first pictures I took when we came to this church on Easter. You have been witnesses to some of the most sacred and foundational moments of these 2 young humans. Moments that, if lived out and continue to live out in community, can truly enhance the love and knowledge of faith in profound and life-giving ways for these 2 for life. This past week at General Assembly, it is kind of weird. It's like many parts of my life are brought before me. There are those who were there who made promises to my children at their baby dedications from California. And while I loved hugging Kathy Perring in this, it is Tyke. Tyke, you see this picture? It is Tyke waving in the background to Tom Perring that truly makes my heart sing. Because Tyke doesn't really know Tom Perring in this world. But Tyke, Tom Perring loves you. He promised to love you and check in on you and watch out for you long ago. Because Tom and Kathy are the kind of people who commit to the foundational journeys of many young people. And I didn't know this moment was happening until I saw the picture. And now I know. I didn't know that my very first small group leader when I went to camp would be my daughter's very first small group leader at the same camp. I didn't know that she would also pay enough attention at regional assembly in November that this past week she was able to point out our regional leadership sitting at a dinner table together. I didn't know, but now I know. And I know that while Erin is never going to be the most organized mentor, she is the one with a heart for Tyke. She may not be quite on time for what is needed right in that moment, but she will be present for the rest of Tyke's life. Because I didn't know when I met a 10-year-old when I was 18 that I would come to befriend her and get the honor of loving her children. I didn't know, but now I know. And Gail, You embody much of what Rob and I strive to do in our faith life. You embody the spirit of many who have been mentors in both of our lives. And that is a gift that I know I wanted, and I think we both wanted to share with our daughter. The ability to seek justice, to truly live in kindness, to come with great mercy in active, prayerful, and profound ways. And many years ago, I didn't know that I would meet a young man at a young adult retreat and then later come to admire his mother. I didn't know, but now I know. A faithful life has so many moments that even when we may not recognize them as sacred encounters, that is ultimately what they came to be, more full and more real. They came to be that because there are people in our lives, our parents, our godparents, our pastors, our counselors, our campers, and so many more who are compelled to help us take one step of faith consistently and move forward even closer to understanding and acknowledging the love of God. And even when we have no idea what it all really is going to mean, and even if we acknowledge we have no idea what it really means, it is important that we have all said yes. And today we witnessed my children's willingness to say yes, even if they don't really know what it all means. Because it is more your yes. Your yes sitting in here, your yes in digital space. Those who I know have loved our children, yes, of the faithful people, to acknowledge God's love best through Jesus. It is that yes that matters. Because it's that yes that connected Moses to Joshua, and Joshua to Jesus, and Jesus to all of us. It is the willingness to bring our children into the healing and whole waters of faith. And so when we took those bottles of water at the Jordan River, I wanted to make sure that there were other pastors who were able to be engaged with my children. And so they are surrounded by more pastors than just me as their mother. They are surrounded by more love and more people who pray for them than they will ever even know. And that love stems from a man who long ago did not part the waters, but willingly stepped into them. Jesus said yes to love. And Anna Jane and Tyke, that is what I hope for you. It is what I hope for every person in this room, the ability to say yes to love, that by stepping in the waters of faith, you will continue to discover that God is constantly working in ways that you don't know. But someday you will know. Because Anna Jane and Tyke, like everyone in this room, you are known by God. And you have said yes to allowing yourselves to be known. You will continue to be faithful, and you will be able to have all of these profound moments and sacred encounters where what you don't know, you will someday know. And you will see that God is working in sacred ways and encounters your whole life. So just remember that as Jesus loved the outcast, the hurting, and the rejected, which I have to say is very similar to what Gail said earlier, and I was like, this is why we asked Gail to be Anna Jane's mentor. Love everyone, Tyke and Anna Jane, in healthy and sacred ways. Today, the Spirit has been entrusted to you in a new way, in a way that means that you must lead and follow. And so remember these basic words that we know: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. Amen.